Because we brought up our children very conservatively, and they never ever gave us any cause for concern. Never drugs, alcohol, no problems. We really did. We never had rebellion.
Nothing you knew about.
Well, yeah.
I met your mommy freshman year in college. I was at Ithaca College and your mommy was at Cornell. And her roommate was a friend of mine from high school, and she introduced us freshman year, and we started dating on and off until I think the junior year. And then we started dating seriously, and we've been married for more than 51 years.
When my mother met him, she said, "Hold on to him, he's a keeper." Immigrants. I mean, the only person that was born in the United States was my mother.
And you?
Well, me. And everybody else was...
Well, Jeffrey and Diane were born in
But I mean, of the older generation, everybody was an immigrant. My grandparents came from Russia and Hungary. You came from Germany.
That's right. And in 1937, we left Germany, but that my father had the foresight to leave Germany when he did was a blessing. Although a lot of members of the family never survived and didn't leave, a lot of them ended up in concentration camps and didn't survive. My mother's parents were one of the first people to go into a concentration camp and die. Oma was the boss. She was one of the greatest cooks of all time. I mean, she could cook, she could bake, she could do everything. And the food she made was delicious. We ate like kings.
My grandparents came from Russia and ended up in Little Rock, Arkansas, Forest City, Arkansas. My mother always had a Southern accent. Even after living in New York for so many years, she was a Southern belle. And my grandmother lived with us because she was a widow. My grandfather died in his 50s. And she lived with us, and she did all the cooking. My mother was a Southern princess. And my mother never learned how to cook and did not know anything about the household. And when my grandmother died, my father sort of took over. My mother once baked a cherry pie that was salty. She made chicken soup with absolutely no flavor, and her matzo balls were as hard as rocks. She could not cook. But I learned to cook when I got married from my mother-in-law and from a very good cookbook. And my daughter learned to cook when she got married, and now we're all very good cooks. Spaghetti pie is, the base of the pie is spaghetti carbonara. So it's like you take a glass pie pan and you make spaghetti and you put egg in it and cream, and you make that the base of the pie. And then you fill it with ground up meat and tomato sauce, and you put cheese on top, and you bake it in the oven, and then when you cut it in wedges like a pie, and it's delicious. And sauerkraut soup was made with sauerkraut, and then I made tiny little meatballs. You and your sister loved it. I was a very good baker. I don't know why. Baking is an art. It's an exact science. You don't guess when you bake, except Oma did. She never had the amounts put down, but I baked a lot. I baked mostly pies, and I baked lemon meringue, chocolate cream, cakes, apple pie. You name it, I baked it, right?
And you also made crisp.
Apple crisp,
strawberry rhubarb crisp.
Yes. I mean, I baked a lot, and everybody enjoyed it very much, as we had a few chubby people in the family. We always sat down to dinner. The four of us would sit down to dinner every night and have dinner together. And if Daddy wasn't home, the three of us would sit down. Nobody does that anymore. It's really a shame. I think it's very important. And I always had a full meal on the table with a vegetable, a meat, and a starch, and a dessert every night. Except Sunday night we went out for Chinese.
My father was a prankster. My father had false teeth, and he loved to scare you by having the teeth drop out of his mouth. and my father bought some Camembert cheese. Limburger cheese.
Stinky cheese.
Which was a very stinky cheese, and he got into the room of a couple next to us, and he spread the cheese on the mattress under the sheets, and you could hear them talking when they got into bed. It was George and Irma, and George said to Irma, "Irma, I think you need a shower. You smell." And my father bought these plastic golf balls, and when you hit it, they broke into thousands of little pieces. And when they weren't looking, he'd substitute the real golf ball for the fake one. And they'd line up and bang it, and it'd smash to pieces, and they were shocked.
And he bought fake dog poop, and he would lay it on the carpet, and it looked very real. And I walked into the living room, and I saw it there, and I got very hysterical, and I swear I smelled it. And then another time he would do fake vomit and put that on the floor. He really played jokes. And he fooled us.
I inherited the trick-making thing, and so did you. Do you know that the little red light on the front of the camera just turned green?
No, it didn't. I think we did a good job because we brought our children up well, and they learned how to be good parents, and seeing our parenting, and they became good parents. Right, and they brought up lovely children too, so.
It all worked out very nicely.
Just don't make us look bad on this. Don't mention the drug use and the alcoholism and the beatings and the arrests and the jail time. That's all I have to say.
We are signing off.
I rest my case.
It's time for Din Din.
Yeah, I'm hungry.